Are we on?
Yep.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. To review right now, Park and Rec, we have John Howe with us. I'm Judy Neville. I'm
Karen Neville.
And Todd is not joining us. Okay. Would you like to start with anything you want to, have you read the charter?
I have not read the whole charter,
Okay.
but the only thing that I have, which for years I thought was perfect, the Parks Maintenance Department falls under Public Works. Okay,
Yes.
and that was fine when I was the park superintendent. Now that I've taken over as the Park and Rec director, there used to be a separate recreation director,
Right.
Steve Banco, and then separate Parks Department that way. So now I manage them both. I didn't want to become the rec director and lose the parks. That's kind of my passion and everything. So for a lot of reasons, I think it would make sense if Parks wasn't under Public Works. Just because with all our athletic events and things like that,
So
Share
what would
staff.
how would you combine it? Would you call it what, just parks?
Parks and Rec,
And
you know,
just
Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay,
It basically just moved the Parks Department out from underneath.
do you know
Public
that
Works.
it was like that previously and it got moved there or?
No.
Okay.
It-
It's always been there.
Well, I say that for the almost 30 years that I've been here.
Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons, it made sense to keep it under Public Works. You know, we do a lot of the same stuff, but we still work together. So is it broke? No.
Right.
But I just think for a lot of, if you ever had two people, a park and our Public Works director and a Park and Rec
Mhm.
director that were at odds,
then you have an.
then we have an issue because of
Right.
not.
So who would you report to? Directly the first select?
I report to the first selectman now anyways,
Anyway,
yes.
I was gonna say you always did, but,
Well, since I
Technically.
became the Park and Rec director, I have.
oh, I sort of thought you always did.
And then, no, I
Didn't
reported
you?
to the director of Public Works. As the park superintendent.
That's right,
yes.
the park superintendent. Yeah.
So, and this
Yeah.
is working the way we are now, but I think if you're looking at the big picture, I think
How
that
many people are on that parks staff?
our staff is like 14.
14.
I
And are
might not be
they
separate,
full-time
full
parks?
time.
And do you mostly direct their work just the way it works out because you know our staff?
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm involved.
But you're not.
Just some history. Every morning I usually get here just after 6. They start at 6:30. I go see them first because they're here.
Right.
You
So
see who?
I see the parks guys. So I go
Oh.
see Ryan, who's the park
They start at
superintendent.
6:30?
They start at 6:30 this time of year.
6:30?
6:30
They
this
go
time of year, and then
overnight.
summertime, they go to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Start. So I go see them. So do I direct each guy? No. But I direct,
Well,
Ryan answers to me.
okay. Yeah, I guess what I meant was who decides what the parks maintenance staff is going to do? Is that the Parks Commission or is that DPW?
Neither.
Okay,
It really is myself and the park superintendent.
okay,
DPW, you know, they're there for backup, but
Right.
they don't day-to-day operations, not at all. The commission has, from my understanding, budget oversight more than anything. And again, I work well with the commission, but they're not talking.
they're not doing the data.
They don't direct us on day-to-day maintenance.
And the guys that are in the garage, they report directly to you or
Through
Tiger, both,
to me,
but they sort of come and report, no,
they don't report to Tiger,
they're not
but
supposed
by the
to.
town charter,
That's right.
it would say that they would.
Right.
But when I took over, that, you
Well,
know,
shouldn't that be codified?
I think
mean,
it should be.
And how would you state that?
See, this is where I didn't have a chance to read how it's labeled
You can
now
pin
that
it.
Parks
You can
is
pin it.
in there. Yeah,
But
we
when
don't
you
have
just, combine the,
yes, it'd be something to the effect of Parks maintenance would fall under the direction of the Park and Recreation Director.
Yeah, I had a question about that, so I had kind of edited let me see if I'm gonna edit that. I think you could, so, the charter doesn't have to be the end all, you know, it's not an ordinance, right? So I was thinking,
Oh,
so,
it's all right, yeah.
and I was wondering if we could make it flexible to be either way.
Yep,
So here, okay, it says. So it used to say, so in 2016, they changed it from prioritize, plan, and supervise the maintenance and care of parks to evaluate the maintenance and care of parks.
That's the
So this is
commission?
yeah.
okay.
So,
Did you
um,
keep it that way or not?
I'm assuming that's because they don't, because your role does the planning and not the
Exactly.
commission. Yeah, so it probably makes more sense that, you know, it's.
I think,
sort of like the
yes.
school superintendent does, you know.
Right, I think the new way makes more sense.
And then the other part of this was utilizing the resources of the park maintenance staff of the Department of Public Works. Within the, so if we just took utilizing the resources of the park maintenance staff and just took out of the Department of Public Works.
Exactly.
That allows you to get an ordinance and like change it without it having be,
Yeah,
a
then
chapter
we
item.
don't have to look at Public Works this section,
right?
because it probably says.
It does probably
Oversight.
say that.
Yeah,
You're right.
something to that effect, that might need to be Xed out too.
Right,
X out what?
That the Parks Department falls under Public Works, however it's
Yes, yes.
labeled there.
yeah, so we just leave it generic. We don't have to say that it moves.
Right.
you
Now,
know, to
with
the
this,
park.
all this said, it's,
Mhm.
right now, it's not a hill to die on. by
Right.
Any means
But
at
it's
all.
10 years.
But, well,
And
that's the
so
way I
it-
look at it. This is the
So I
time
mean,
to
you may or
correct
may
it.
not be here in 10 years, so it needs to, you know, supersede anybody who's in a job. I
And
keep
that's what I
reminding
mean, and I'm not
everybody,
looking at it
No, I
as
know.
me.
Oh,
It's what's right for the town.
yeah, so it's clear for the next
Exactly,
person or the
because-
next commission.
As an example, I leave and Tiger leaves, and for
Right.
whatever reason you have personality conflicts,
Yeah.
I don't think it will work as smooth,
Yeah.
right? You'd hope there won't be that. but-
Yeah, and so for the commission, you guys were happened to be talking about something about early when you walked in, but one of my other questions is this F, on or promptly after the first day of November, the commission shall submit an annual report to the Board of Selectmen and Town Council, which report shall include sections on recreation, parks, et cetera. And I asked the commissioners if they actually do that because I hadn't, and they said no.
Not that I know of.
That was the part that included a special report on Irwin too, which is in
Yeah.
the deed. So so now it's in two places, so.
So I wasn't sure if that's something that you do instead as part of the budgeting process. Is there, you know, is there any sort of annual update about, you know?
We have
It's
not
annual
given
report.
annual reports ever since they used to print up the little booklet annual report.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then since then, no.
okay.
So
Um,
whether
Well, I
we should be
Should we-
failing,
should we?
you know, in a way, it makes sense to me
Yeah.
that, because then you have something.
Yeah, well, what I was wondering is, and I didn't have a chance to go back and look at what the budget presentation looks like for. Do you do a budget presentation as well, or is it just all of DPW?
I do the
Okay,
budget, and I do the budget presentation for both parks and
And
recreation
okay,
and in the capital.
okay.
Now that falls always under, the capital all goes with DPW, so I go to their meeting too.
Okay,
But when it comes up to the sections,
right,
there's overlap in there too. You
Right.
know, Tiger, the Director of Public Works, is involved with the wall rebuilding at Waveney, but that's in the parks infrastructure budget. So we do it together.
right.
Yeah,
Well, what I
because
was
you have
wondering
to
is
have
if you-
both.
If
Yeah,
you
we have
kind
to
of
do it together.
do these reports as part of budgeting, or is your budget just a spreadsheet? Because some departments, they have like, you know, a presentation.
We do a whole
part- As
presentation,
part of the budget.
you know,
but-
and try to make it more of the feel-good presentation instead of line item this, we want to go on $5. But as far as a true report,
Yeah, true.
haven't done it.
Okay,
But I remember doing this when I was in, and I'm trying to think when it stopped. When did we stopped sending that out or we stopped giving it out as a report? Did we send it out
It's
to the
not being
residents?
paid.
I know it's not being
Yeah,
paid now,
yeah.
but when did we?
don't remember.
Before the last charter?
I
change?
just remember when I first started with the town,
Yeah, well, that was a
a
while.
long time
Yeah.
ago.
No, we were all.
We used to have to write up
Yeah,
a
we
little
did.
blurb of our department. Then for me, it was only parks. But
Yeah, this is too, I bet you do some of this as part, so the recreation
Yeah,
section.
In the budget,
If
you
we-
go through this.
I guess what I'm wondering is if we could either take this whole section out. A lot of the budgeting process is not described in the other commissions, so I don't know that we need to add it. We could take this whole section out, or I was wondering if it maybe makes sense to. Instead of said the commission shall submit an annual report, it's really. What it says under recreation, describing activities for the past year, new goals and projects. Pertaining to the Recs Department of Facilities, and for parks, it says describing activities for the past year, current conditions of the parks, park maintenance needs, short-term plans, and capital projects and long-range planning. I mean, that sounds like it's probably in the budget.
it's in the budget, but we don't do a formal report saying, here, this is our update.
Okay,
And I think that formal report was sent out to the residents, was it not? Was
It used to, when it was the booklet, I think it was always mailed out.
Yeah, we did do that.
Was that before?
No, I did that.
You did do
I
that?
do
Okay.
remember composing it and finalizing it, and I thought it was.
There was,
sent
I
to
just
the
remember there
residents.
was always a stack of
Yeah.
them in Public Works
That's
every
right.
year.
so we could either get rid of this altogether, and we can, the other commissioners.
We can get rid of it altogether, but also I wonder if it was discussed in the last charter. I mean, that would be, you'd have to look at the last charter versus the
It
charter.
wasn't, I have the edited version, so it just wasn't changed. It's just been.
Nobody's compared any of this to the charter 10 years before that.
This
so-
whole document,
Yeah,
the
this is the
everything,
last one.
no, but all of this shows what was edited in the
Yeah.
charter. So this is all
So it
two
wasn't-
thousand sixteen.
maybe it
It
wasn't
wasn't
even
changed.
done.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't changed.
We
at all.
need to get more of the language right this time. There's a lot of stuff that's either misstated or,
If you don't mind me asking, is that the main objective, to clean up the language, or are there big?
no, there's
issues?
there's bigger
Okay.
issues, but I think all in one, you need to have something
Yeah.
that's reliable document. And it's a legal document too.
Right.
Yeah,
So either we'll change it to be more descriptive, more that it's the budget process. When do you guys submit the budget? Because I know it's not the first
They
day of
just
November.
finished.
Yeah, well,
Let's
we
select-
submit usually beginning of December to the first selectman. And then in January really starts the process to go to the Board of Selectmen. And then February's Board of Finance, and then March is Town Council.
But you started, Board of Finance started Tuesday night, right?
Yes, I go next Thursday.
Yeah, would be this, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
Yes.
right time.
yeah, in February.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, yeah, January, February, March, 3
Anything new that's being asked this year
for this year.
that's different or that it should be?
This year, no, but we put some things out there in the 5-year plan to make it start being discussed.
Well, you have to, capital.
And they're
Yeah.
big capital numbers.
Are
Do I think that they'll happen in 5 years? I'm not
Right.
sure that they even should happen in 5 years, to be honest, but they need to start being thought about.
And discussion,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
But as far as the request for next year, there's nothing for sure.
As far as the commission, these are sort of generic questions that we're asking everybody, just the size of the commission. Parks, I think, is the only one, Parks and Rec, sorry.
Yeah.
Is the only one that has a range of members, like 7 to 11. And I guess you've been around a long time. Do you have any thoughts on how the commission operates, any process or size or term limits or anything? Any thoughts on any of those things?
There's sometimes that I think of term limits, but it's only when I'm thinking of somebody that is not
annoying.
effective.
Oh,
Yes, or annoying.
I know.
Right,
Yeah,
but
always.
other than that,
Yeah.
you know, there's some great commission members that have been there for a long time.
Right.
So. You know, I don't know, in my opinion, no, I don't think there's a good,
And, I'll ask you the same question, where is the status of the Kiwanis Park and how's that evolved? And did you
master-
like that process?
the master plan.
Yeah,
Where,
We're recording right now.
yes, exactly.
Well, no, it's all right. Well,
we,
known,
yes, Keith Ritchie, who
Mhm.
was the member of the Park and Rec Commission, he was heading it up.
spearheading, yeah,
Yes, and when he passed, that slowed things down.
but wasn't it pretty much done
No.
his part was done?
Not really. Not really. There's a whole bunch of ideas out there. We've had some internal meetings
Yeah,
and not sure which way we should go or which way town should go,
Regarding the
So-
pond or the
the
whole
whole park.
park?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been vocal. I've admitted that I would love to have a splash pad in town. I think it would be a great
That would be
addition
great.
to the town.
It's cute for kids.
It's, they
Oh,
kids
God.
love it, it's safe and everything else, so. But with that
Hot dog.
said, that's not my decision. So, but we're not at a point now. So it's slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, is he on? Can he hear us? Can
Yes,
you hear
I think
us?
so,
Okay,
yeah, he's on mute, but.
all right.
Sorry, guys, I was in the other meeting with Kathleen.
Oh,
Didn't realize
I
it was 2
know.
meetings in
I
one.
thought I should have reminded, because there was a bunch of emails going back and forth that we had
Yeah,
to speak.
my apologies.
No, it's.
Was there anything good?
Yeah,
Okay.
Was there? Talked. All right, so is it the design that's being held up or is it replacing Keith or?
Not replacing Keith, Hank Green
He's-
is also from the commission, has stepped up to
Okay.
do it. It's just, it's slowed it down. So, let's say 4 weeks ago, probably, we had a meeting and we discussed some issues, just an internal meeting. But we didn't come up with any solutions. I have a feeling come springtime, it will be time to get moving again,
Yeah.
so.
Did you like the process? How much input was there from the public or the neighbors?
We haven't got first, in the beginning, there was a lot of input from the neighbors. The process that way was fine. I think ultimately in any process like this with the town,
Mhm.
you need more input from the townspeople. It's one thing for the neighbors to want what they want, but it's a town park. It's not a neighborhood park.
Was the selection of the committee based on so many from the neighbors, so many from the commission and so many at large, or how was that
I
decided?
know. Keith was kind of empowering everybody that wanted to be on the committee, and it wasn't working.
So it was too
So
many
then it got.
people or
it-
too many
he-
volunteers?
He let everybody talk all the time, so
Okay.
there was a lot of meetings that we didn't go very far. So that's been shrunk down to some members from the Park and Rec Commission, myself. And
And neighbors or not?
not at this point in time.
Okay, so it's.
There'll be neighborhood input.
Yeah, but there won't be people on the committee that's the town at large or not, okay?
I think personally, I think there should be.
Okay,
You
So
know, I don't
that's
think,
good.
I don't think the Park and Rec Commission should be the only voice for something
that's
that's
where I
major.
was headed. I
Yeah.
wondered if there was.
That's my personal
All right.
opinion.
I just wondered if there was any precedent for that, not that I know of.
Yeah.
No, not for that, okay.
So there's two other sections that in here that are, some of the commissions are pretty generic what sections they have, but there's two specific to parks, which is method of acquisition of park property, and then the park bylaws, permits, and use by nonprofit groups. I guess I just would ask that you read through those and just
Okay.
make sure that they're, you know,
Can I have this copy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You-
and make sure that it's actually what's happening.
Okay.
And then just in general, are there any, we talked to the commissions a little bit about kind of the laws that they have, not laws, but park rules. I don't
They
know,
just
but-
came up with park rules, in the last year. You know, it was a long process, but it was a lot of it was, you know, you'd be a good human, you'd be a good citizen and you won't have any problems, but.
Put it in writing, right?
Right, if there's a problem, now there's a way to deal with it.
Right, and are there any issues with that process or what, you know, how any of that could be improved or anything?
No, they created a small subcommittee and asked me to sit in on all their meetings.
Okay.
And it worked well.
Okay.
For which?
For doing the park.
The
rec
bylaw, like park rules.
Rules, guidelines.
Oh, the park rules that
Yeah.
get published?
Yeah.
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 So I think in a case like that, you know, if they didn't include myself or the recreation director, I think that would be a problem.
No, I think they have.
You know, it's just,
That's- Yeah, but it was the commission that chose that, right?
the commission
Yeah,
chose that, yeah.
And then I guess the same thing for, I don't really have any questions specific to that section on acquiring town land. It's just a
Yes.
process. I don't know that it needs to be in the charter. It's probably. an
Which
ordinance, but,
part?
I just handed it to him.
Let me see. I missed something.
It's just, the method of acquiring acquisition of park property.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
guess if they have to,
Being a park
Have you
rec
had-
director, I buy more.
Right.
Well, you know,
have they acquired more parks property in your tenure?
Yes,
Probably.
Irwin
yeah,
Park.
Irwin, that was huge for them. They
Probably why they spelled it
probably
here.
had
They had to muddle through it
Yeah.
maybe. at the
Yeah.
time.
And indirectly, when there was the, land swap for the lumber yard with the Avalon, they made, at some point in time, they made the landfill park property.
Just a second, they made the landfill park property?
Yeah, once it was closed,
The swap, how was that associated with the Avalon?
I think because Millport borders Avalon.
Yes.
And I think there might have been a little bit of property there. That was 30 years ago.
No, I'll tell you, it was exactly 27 years ago,
Okay,
yeah.
so I've been here
And
just
so
over
what
27
was
years.
the process for that beyond what, after the swap, was the land?
It's classified as park property,
It is.
but we don't maintain it. You know, the highway uses the top of the landfill for storage.
I don't
snow.
remember that being classified as
Yeah.
park. When did we do that? At the very end? God.
I don't know,
can't
Judy,
remember
because
that.
I wasn't even involved. It
Maybe
was just one of
after
those,
the swap,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
I think it's part of state
Then
statute,
it
does
should.
not let a town sell park property without acquiring more property.
well then,
Really?
well, no, that's if it's designated,
As-
which, remember the fight we had with Irwin because nobody wanted to make it a
Exactly.
park? They just
Because you
wanted to
couldn't-
make it
Do
Irwin.
other things.
And we did, we passed it, but not without huge
Right,
number
but
of people.
if they took
weighing-
some of Millport Park,
Then that would make.
that
a
would mean they
difference.
needed to classify this as
Yeah.
parkland. Yeah,
Then it needs to be left in.
No, I mean, I
But-
didn't have any
No,
trouble with it.
No, I'm just questioning whether it should.
You know, it's probably been like
Yeah.
this for,
I'll
I don't
look
know how
at
many
it
years, it
again.
wasn't changed in 2016, so just read through and make sure
Yeah.
it's accurate. I didn't really have any other questions on mindful that it's the end of your workday.
Yeah,
If-
oh
is
no,
there
that's
anything-
fine, I'm
No,
fine,
that's
I'm
fine.
not leaving yet.
yeah.
Is there anything
Yeah.
that,
No, well,
just the switch between, putting the parks maintenance under parks?
Exactly.
Or making it flexible to do that?
Yeah,
I don't know who would have to do that. I think probably if it's not in the charter that is under DPW, then I think probably like the first selectman could make
Yeah.
that change. You know, it wouldn't, I don't even know if that would be an ordinance. It just would be an organizational change.
and that's what it has been.
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's
You know,
okay.
and
But
it,
yeah,
and it's working well,
No, I
you
understand.
know,
yeah.
part of it I could say was.
I think to the extent that we've got something that is working and that it's been tested, like certainly all this park property and land and all it needs to be codified. I
Okay.
mean, I just like having it cleaned up.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
All right, excellent.
Todd, anything?
Any
that-
questions, Todd?
No, I was just listening. The only thing I always ask is, are there any processes and procedures that you think would be better suited to put into this charter, which would sort of transcend who the first selectman is? So it doesn't matter who it is, but like just going forward, that would be a better process for you guys, or you think it just works well the way it is?
You know, the only thing I'd say doesn't always work well is finance things, purchase orders, you
Yeah.
know, but does it work that bad? No.
Yeah.
It's just, who are we kidding? It'd be a lot easier. But I also think the checks and balances should be there. So I'm gonna argue both ways, you know. Yes, I'd
get it.
love to have our budget approved and then they say, okay, just go purchase what you need to and here's an invoice. But you have to have purchase
Right.
orders
Then
and
you have-
process.
You have to bid it out. I
And
mean,
exactly.
Fairness sake.
Exactly. Would it
Yeah.
be easier for me? Yes, but then there'd also be scrutiny on why did you do this wrong?
Or you don't know until you get a number from a designer or whoever as to what's fair.
Yes,
Because,
exactly.
you know, they can be 20,000, 100,000.
Exactly. So
So it's a good process.
yes, I think, you know, as far as purchasing and that the processes that are in place are important. And I think,
Yeah,
I think.
no,
that-
from my standpoint, everything in your area seems to work pretty well. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you still using the resource at the state for the trucks and the loaders and the major
State.
equipment?
State
The-
contract. Yes, there's a lot of,
Did? Yeah.
yes, there's a lot, now there's a lot more purchasing agreements. Which even
Really?
works better. Yeah, like our fertilizer and seed.
Is all coming from that
State,
same?
it's not the same one that we're buying off of Krog purchasing agreement, which is, I forget what CROG exactly stands for, but it's basically set up in Hartford.
Okay.
But a lot of our equipment now comes through Sourcewell.
And they've already bid it out and they've already
every
verified
bit
it.
of.
Well, that's helpful.
That,
That's
it's
helpful.
helpful for us,
Yeah.
because when you have to go out to a formal bid to buy a truck, as an example. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
We
it's,
should- I didn't know.
Yeah, they're very expensive items and we used to really struggle. We had the main source and then we had to, bid out and see who would do what and whether it
Yeah.
was reliable. It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
since the state or feds have bid it out, we can
Yeah.
piggyback on those purchasing agreements.
Glad they're doing that. I'm glad they've expanded it.
But it's a lot easier, because if we need to buy a mower and there's 3 vendors out there, one's not that good. And then there's the one that maybe is really good, but super expensive, and where do you go? So I think that
Well, I
being
remember
able to purchase from purchasing
the one that
agreements.
we were the most unsure of was that mower that was so huge they could do the landfill. And we've ended up using it in other parks, but at the time that was like a huge undertaking and we were all really nervous about.
Want to know what the prices have done since
Is
then.
that right? I wouldn't, is it that bad?
Yes.
Oh, thank God we bought it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
Okay,
Yeah, we're
we'll
all
be good.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna
Thank you very much.
pause the
Appreciate it.
recording, just FYI, but
Yeah.
we'll still be on. Or maybe I can't.
Are we doing that? You're
Yeah,
you're
it's the
so
red one.
good at this stuff.
oh, yeah.
She was.
We might not be able to pause this. This is like a different. Oh, wait, never mind.
We're welcoming Joe McLaughlin. Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, here's yeah, okay.
That's the ballot that I want to talk about. Here are the
Okay,
stats for town.
all right.
Okay. Hi.
That's okay. I'm a quick study.
Okay, save it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, this came up the other day. I'm glad you're looking at it. Wow.
It really upsets me.
Well, nobody has really spoken to it yet, so
Okay.
it's gonna, I'm glad you're,
Yeah, so I don't know if you've watched any of these videos,
Yeah.
so just if you have anything, any topics you want to bring up or have some statements, or you can start. Otherwise, we'll.
we'll ask you questions.
Okay. I have a couple of things. So I went through the charter and I saw one section that had to do with register of voters, like 4 sentences, and I marked it in blue. And then it came back today. And the little marker is under the police commission, so my husband took it out. He was looking through it, so it's okay.
All right.
Yeah, so basically.
When I looked through, I thought, I don't even.
It's
think
the
four
same
sentences.
husband and wife, just if you don't
Yeah.
know.
I know, we always talk
In
to
case you're not confused, yeah.
When I didn't even see 4 sentences, all I saw was it under the officers, so it's elected even numbered, sorry, that's not even on there, actually. It just says in Article 2 in a list of the officers, it's listed as one of the officers. But it doesn't mention any duties or anything like that, so is that your understanding as well?
It is because my duties fall under state statute.
Right,
So
Yeah.
the only thing I think it said was either a 2-year or 4-year term. That's what the town can determine. Whether it's 2 years or 4 years. Right now it's 2 years. It's always been 2 years. I recommended staying at 2 years because we are getting to be an older crowd. And it's easier to know what you're doing
Yeah,
in 2 years as opposed to the 4 years. Okay, so
all right.
I really work for the Secretary of State.
right.
She's the one that can fire me, not the town.
Is
An
that right?
elected official.
Literally?
That's in state statute.
Really?
Yeah.
And who was that?
Secretary of State.
Well, the Secretary of State. Oh, wow.
That's in state statute.
Okay.
All right, what else did I want to say?
You're required to be elected, right, by state statute?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So most of the rules, as I said, concerning the register of voter fall under state statute. For instance, I have to appoint a deputy. They have to live in town, but that is, I have to do that according to state statute. So it's me, it's not the first selectman, it's not the parties. And that goes for my counterpart, Democrat register of voter also.
So the deputy is appointed by only you? What's the process for that? You just do
They
it?
have to live in town and
Well,
they have to be
yeah.
a member of your party. Just those two things.
Okay,
And then,
And how about, I'm sorry, as far as payment, the town still sets the budget for that, right? You don't have anything to do with the salary or how much deputy gets paid, right?
The only thing I have to do is how many hours they work for us.
are they paid by the hour or is
Yes,
it?
they're
Oh,
paid
they
by the
are,
hour.
okay.
Okay, that, I didn't know that, thank you.
Yeah, they're paid $22 an hour.
And who sets that salary? Is that?
I do,
Okay,
it varies around the state. Darien is $24. Westport is 27. But they fall under a union, ours does not.
they are not in the union. I didn't remember
Part-time,
them being in the
part-time,
union.
Yeah,
Okay,
part-time,
yeah.
but for some reason, they're part-time in Darien and they fall under the union.
Is that right?
I don't know how that got there. It did.
And it has to be somebody in the same party as you?
yeah. And then does
I
does
didn't know that.
the other one has a deputy as well?
Correct,
Okay.
correct,
Can it be unaffiliated?
Democrat has a deputy Democrat.
correct.
Okay,
Can you have somebody that's unaffiliated or no?
No, no,
Interesting.
according to state statute, no.
So the reason the charter doesn't speak too much about this is because it's all governed by statute.
yeah.
There are a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Uniformity, uniformity.
I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot,
Yeah,
So-
do you see any problem with it not even really existing in the charter as like a section to describe duties? It's never been any issue. right?
No.
Yeah.
You probably like it better that
Not
way,
my
right?
knowledge, it has not.
Because the Board of Education is largely state statute too, and it's got a
Yeah.
very short section, but it does have a section in there, but,
Yeah, no, I don't.
okay.
Yeah, I've
Never
been
been a
doing
problem.
this, I've been doing it since 2017. I worked in the office since 2014. I don't see that we ever had a problem. And I don't know when you were first selectman, if you ever had. a
No,
problem.
we never had a problem. Has this changed at all
No,
under the state statute though? I mean, has that been revised or?
no, not to my
Okay.
knowledge.
Uh,
Yeah.
Are there anything tasks that you do that are not state statute that are sort of specific to New Canaan, or is pretty much all of your duties and roles are covered by the state statute?
It's pretty much covered by state statute. I mean, how you set up an election, where you have to go, it's all determined by state statute.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a simple question. In reviewing the charter, is there anything that you would put in or delete or do anything with regard to your responsibilities that would be helpful for you and the people that succeed you in the future?
You know what? No, I wouldn't put in or I wouldn't take out, but I wanted to talk about, the ballot on the municipal election, but I wanted to talk about that last, but if you want to talk about it now, I don't care.
Can I ask you a quick question though, before you do that? Is the ballot a creature of the charter or is it outside the charter?
The ballot is made up by the town clerk, who, Claudia said she would come up, but I don't know.
But again, is that something that should be before we
No,
get
that's-
into it?
I think
That's in state, that's in Connecticut Constitution, like how it has to be laid out, et cetera, et cetera. Who gets what, like if the,
Yeah, because, our duties are looking at the charter and how we can make the charter better.
I think
Right.
what her point is gonna be based on her notes on the sample ballot is about the vote for 4 versus vote for
Yeah.
6,
yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah, I want,
Yeah, but he knows that, so I'm just gonna
Okay.
catch
Okay.
on that.
All right.
You can go ahead and jump into that, we'll probably come up.
Who
with a-
determines all the voting districts and we do that? Or is
no,
that?
no,
it's
no,
State
the
statute.
parties break it up, and that's where it comes
At
from.
the state level?
At the state.
That's what
level.
I mean,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we have 6 districts. when you were here,
Yeah.
when you were first
Yeah,
looking,
yeah.
there's probably three,
Yeah.
2 or 3. We
Yeah.
have 6 districts,
Crazy.
of which I have 36 in one district.
I know, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, but it's just so strange how it happened. I never
Every
could
year,
figure.
every year I try to do something about it.
Yeah,
Every single year I find something. My ex counterpart, John Amaryllis, he was a lawyer, he would find something and we would write to the Secretary of State's office. There was a primary in 2024 presidential, no, it was a primary in August. In 2024, and one person from District 6 voted by absentee. And so my argument, that was the last argument to the state, was that we knew how they voted. And so therefore, you have to do away from that. They said, no.
you have to do away from what?
I said, because we know how many, because everyone knew how they voted. I was the one that looked at the vote and it was an absentee ballot. I looked at the vote and put it through the tabulator, so no one knew. And I said that you can't have the district with just 36 people because you're gonna have things like that. So you need to go back to the state legislature or whoever determines, or the parties, and say that you have to take these 36 voters because of this reason and put it in another district and get rid of this district. And they're like, no, it's out of our
Is that
district.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I saw it in 2022, I called like our representative, our state rep.
And they all said, don't bother with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Too late. And I think for 36 votes, and their answer was, what happens if we put it in somewhere else and somebody wins by vote? So,
Yeah,
but I still try. And it's for 2022, it's for 10 years. So let's see.
the
what happens.
unaffiliated is even higher now than it was.
Correct.
Summer, yeah, I mean, it's
And-
really, it's 5,681. Versus, Republican 5128 versus Democrat 3858. So that's proportionally even higher than it was.
Correct, and also it's that way, in the state.
Is
too.
it? Is
Yes.
that right?
Yeah,
But
it's
you-
the way a lot of states, I think Massachusetts is
Yeah.
that way, Rhode Island is that way.
But you attribute that to younger people not wanting it on their resume and not wanting to be, or not. That's what I
I'm sure
keep
there are
reading, yeah.
groups of people that don't like to belong to anything.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
hear
true, too.
millennials don't. People come in and say, I'm leaving the party because I'm getting a new job and they've asked me not to.
Yeah, there's a lot of employment.
Right,
It's mostly, that's what I keep
Right,
reading. It's
right.
related to,
But
it,
it's-
but
but
it's
it's-
not,
it's not a party, it's a group.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Right, it's not a.
That's
I'm
party,
always
it's a group.
scouting that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
It's
We're
a.
trying to reach
absence-
that group. and
Right.
It's harder and harder.
Party.
Yeah.
But you know what, and I'll go into this. They vote along party lines.
Yeah.
So. What,
Do you think they're voting Republican Party lines here or not? I don't see that as much as I used to.
I think it just means that for any individual unaffiliated voters, it's not like they're in the middle.
No,
They're
no,
leaning
no,
one way
I
or the
hear
other.
you.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Not the same as unaffiliated.
Right, and I
Yeah.
can give you 2 examples,
Mhm.
one being that this last municipal election that we had, we did have a write-in candidate for the Board of Ed, he was an unaffiliated,
Mhm.
voter. You're looking at how many unaffiliated are, he got 145 votes, and we don't even know what that's from, if it's from Republicans, Democrats, or
Is that right?
right, or unaffiliated, so. Statistically or whatever, I think they vote along party lines.
You know, they do in municipal elections, but not in federal elections.
How do you know? Oh, wait
No.
a second. In 2016, I was not the registrar. In 2016, I worked in the office. I was there 15 hours a week. The last Tuesday in April is the presidential preference primary, and it was choose who was gonna be run for president on the Democratic Party and on the Republican Party. Okay, so Hillary Clinton ended up getting it. for the Democrats, and Donald Trump ended up getting it for the Republicans. And I can tell you that weeks and months beforehand, people who are unaffiliated were coming in and changing to a party, okay? And after a week or two, so you get a registration form, you check party change, they change the party from either Democrat to Republican. I would hand them another registration form and say, when you come to the polls and after you vote, go to the help desk and give this in, because if you're gonna go back to being an unaffiliated, and most of the people said yes. So you know what? No, they vote according to
No,
party.
the only reason I say that is, and I thought it was fascinating, not that it means much, is that I think in the last two elections, more people voted Democrat for president than Republican in New Canaan. I just thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, no, look, it wasn't
Oh,
the
yeah.
last two, it was the
No, I
last,
expect
it was
that.
16, 20, and 24 off the top of my head, and
Yeah,
actually. I sit down and look at the ballots, you're not allowed to, but I mean,
I just thought that was a tough thing to
I can look at the
reconcile.
ballots, I can tell you that. Because more people voted for Democrats, because many people didn't vote at all. Like if you clearly, it was a Republican, I'm looking at the ballot days
Yeah.
later. Clearly, the Republican voters, they're across in every single Republican office, but the president was left empty.
Fascinating.
That makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they still, so i.e. they still, I'm gonna go back to it, they still vote along party lines.
Yeah, it sounds that way, yeah.
Which is why I have a problem with the ballot.
Yes.
All
I
right.
thought that's where you were going.
That's where we're going.
All right,
Okay.
so what is the,
All right, so can I start with the town treasurer, or what did you
Doesn't
want to ask
matter.
me? All
um,
yours.
I already asked you all of my questions that are specific to the language in the charter and such.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have questions, but just start with what points you wanted to make.
Okay. So, I'm gonna start with the town treasurer, whether elected or appointed.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it should remain elected, but before I start, does anyone know who Eric Russell is?
I do, I think now. Is that the state treasurer?
Thank you. All right, so Eric Russell is the state treasurer. He's the current treasurer of the state of Connecticut. He was voted in 2022. We voted for him because he's on the ballot. So state treasurer is on the ballot.
Mhm.
Every 4 years, we vote for a treasurer for the state. There are 169 towns in the state of Connecticut, 102 towns elect a treasurer. Even cities, some cities elect treasurers like Norwalk and Danbury.
102 cities elect the treasurer.
169 towns,
Yeah, I know that,
102
yeah.
towns elect a treasurer. Okay, so treasurer's still elected.
And how about surrounding towns?
You know what? I don't know.
We talked about this.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
has this.
I don't
Can-
think,
can-
I
can-
don't think Wilton does.
Yeah,
because-
can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
This issue's come up a lot with people, and where they say, well, all the towns elect or all the towns appoint. Do you think for our job in the Charter Review Commission that we should be persuaded by what other towns do just because more towns do something or less?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Not
I
at
just
all.
wasn't
But
sure,
I'm
but people
I'm
keep
just-
saying this to us. Everybody's
I'm
like,
just-
all the
I'm
towns do this, you know?
I'm
That's
just
what
throwing-
everybody's saying. that
I'm just
kind of
throwing
thing,
out
yeah.
numbers, okay?
Yeah.
And I think that I'm throwing out numbers,
The data point.
Mhm.
okay?
You're the first person I've asked this, but I wanted to start asking it because people keep throwing numbers at all of
They
us.
all of them are doing this and
And I'm
not
like, well,
sure
should that be
when.
persuasive? I mean, if everybody's jumping off a cliff, should we jump off a cliff? You know, so I'm just trying to
That's
figure
right.
out if it's,
Well, okay, so that gets to my second point, which is, so I've been here for three first selectmen, Rob, not you,
Mhm.
Rob,
Yeah.
Kevin, Deanna. Been here for four directors of finance. The first director, Dawn, I wasn't here for that long. The second one was Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy, trained as a dental hygienist, but she was our director of finance and she was really good. Then there was Lunda, who was really, really good, and he left to run the Board of Ed finances for Norwalk. And now we have Ian, who, from what I understand, was an early childhood education major, and now she's the director of finance. She came from Wilton. She told me about 3 months
In
ago that,
Bridgeport, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and she told me that Wilton, she told me 3 months ago that Wilton doesn't have a treasurer, doesn't elect a treasurer, and that their treasurer's duties are folded into the finance, right? And my answer to her was, we're not Wilton. We're not Wilton, and
Mhm.
every 4 years, I vote for a treasurer in the state of Connecticut. It's in our constitution. So my question is like, why would you deny me as a voter a vote? By taking away and having the treasurer appointed? And where are your checks and balances gonna be? They're not. So that's,
Well, I think having a taxpayer treasurer or a person guiding this is more important than appointed versus elected. I think it needs to be a tax-paying resident. That's a different conversation.
right,
Yeah.
right. I agree with that, but
Yeah.
all right, so I feel that when you're elected, there's your checks and balances, you're accountable to electors, the taxpayers, take your pick. And again, why do you want to deny me the vote of voting for treasurer in a municipal election when we vote for a treasurer in the state election?
All right, how about the big ones?
It's in our
How about the big ones? How about P and Z?
Oh, okay, well,
Let's
wait.
get to the big ones.
All right, let me just do the town clerk fast and then we'll get to P and Z.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the town clerk, Stephanie Thomas is the Secretary of the State. She is elected in 2022. I called Claudia, I don't know how many town clerks are elected, so I guess you guys don't want to know that. anymore.
How many are?
I don't know. She didn't answer me back. The town clerk is akin to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State certifies the governor's election and the president's election. The town clerk, Claudia, certifies the municipal election. I don't think that position should be appointed for the simple fact that what happens is the first selectman appoints the town clerk and there's a close election for the first selectman. No, it should stay independent. It should not be appointed.
Okay,
All right.
That would have to be a major,
If it
foible to have that
If it happened.
issue. I suppose it could, but
Yeah.
it would be a really, really rare.
And for that office, you know, you're a more independent thinker if you're elected as opposed to if you're appointed. And again, it's like, why are you taking away my right to vote for that? Where it's been that way for such a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to planning and zoning, Todd.
the big ones. Let's go.
The hard ones.
Okay, so when I was thinking about it as an elector, as a voter, I thought, you know what? There's so many changes coming down from Hartford, and things are really gonna get crazy and crazier. You know, maybe it should be elected. And then I talked to my counterpart, George Cody, who retired a couple of years ago. George has very good suggestions, but he gives me nightmares and things that.
This is recorded, by the way.
That's
It's
okay.
You're welcome.
She's being transparent. I love it.
Okay, so I changed my mind, and I think that planning and zoning should be appointed, okay?
Okay.
And
What does George think?
I'll get to his scenario in a minute.
All right.
You know, it's so funny because so when I came to the Charter Revision Commission, I had no idea this was an issue, nor did I really care. And it's been fascinating to listen to everybody sell both sides of it. And I really love to hear people's opinions on it because to me,
You've woken up.
yeah,
You've woken up. I know.
But I guess who would have thought that this would be the big ticket, right?
but it is. This is a big ticket issue right
Yeah.
here for us. So I love listening to people and why they want one way or the other. So to me, it's fascinating because I'm starting to develop opinions as I listen to people. I'm like you, like I had one opinion and now I'm like sort of swabbling. So I love to hear your input. It's really important for me. So thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
All right, so, I've switched and I think that it should be appointed.
Yeah.
Or stay appointed, I guess. And
Yeah.
the reason is that, I feel that people with the most experience are willing to serve on the board. However, I'm not so sure that they want to go, sorry, I'm not so sure that they want to go through an election process. Okay,
One
so,
of the problems we're facing is that a lot of people aren't allowed to go through elections that are qualified to be part of some of these, boards, right?
oh, why are they not allowed?
Their jobs. Their
Oh,
jobs preclude
interesting.
them. Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's not that many people, but it is some.
Oh,
I
no, it's a
mean,
lot.
it is, it adds up.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, okay, anyway, so, okay.
And you,
so-
Yeah.
and you want the biggest pool, so maybe it's not electing them, it's appointing them and that you go out and you just do it a different way, but I'm
Alright.
not gonna talk about that because that's up to you people, not me. Okay, so I feel that some people can or do not want to go through an election process.
Nobody does. They don't have to.
Right, so I, as a registrar, do not want to go through an election process, and here's the reason why. Just say that you have something that's come down from the state and has just upset everyone, and you have 10 candidates who want to run for planning and zoning. So the Republicans have their caucus, people aren't satisfied, and they decided to primary. So you have a primary, you could have a primary. This is where like George gave me nightmares. You can have a primary. Hey Kathleen.
You get up, yeah.
So you could have, conceivably, you could have a primary for planning and zoning. And you could have people who cannot finance their primary, okay, or don't want to finance their primary. So who could help them? Developers and builders. So now it's really a mess. So that's my,
No, that's great.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting point.
And also, actually, a primary for planning and zoning, like, I don't think I could do a primary for less than $5,500 for the town. That's a lot of money.
Is that what it's running for primary?
Yes, it would be, I'd have to have schools, I'd have to have early voting, I'd have to have absentee, like everything. I don't think you could do it for under $5,500.
And then you'd have to do it for, yeah, no, it'd get very costly. All right.
But
And-
that's if you go back to a primary, where the way it is now, and you can go straight from a caucus to each party can have a caucus and each party can put them on the ballot. I mean, it could have, the same issue with town council could apply to PMC, right?
Right, you can
I
have,
mean,
right.
I've thought about that, and I don't know if that makes sense either.
No,
I don't know.
I think you just really need to maybe change how you appoint people, maybe for that particular, planning and zoning, how you appoint them. Maybe you go back out and get a bigger pool of people, I don't know. But all I can say is that, like, I don't think they should be elected, because you could have that. Judy, you could have primary.
You could,
Right.
we never have, but you could. Cause you're expanding your number of different people who can primary, which is.
Right, right, and they're not,
But
They
it
wanna
wanna be
do it-
one primary,
Right.
it can be for each, yeah.
well, you consider it two primaries, because you consider a Democrat and
Well,
a
that's
Republican
You could.
primary, two separate entities, but I mean, I sat down and did the numbers. If you had a primary, I don't think I could do it for less than $5,500, which is absurd. That's, to me, it's absurd. It's a waste of money for the town.
Yeah, well,
It's 55, what are the components of that 55? Is that your time? Is it, I
Time.
mean, volunteers?
Times, workers,
Mm.
early voting, everything that falls under state statute that I would have to
Okay,
do.
because you do play it.
you would have to do early voting for primary too, right?
Early voting, I believe for a primary is 8 days. I'm not sure. For
Same
municipal
same
primary?
as any other election?
Yeah.
Is it the
Yeah.
same or is
I thought it
there
was
different?
four. I thought it was like 2 weeks, isn't it, the last one?
So it's for primary, it's 8 days of early.
8 days, so.
Yeah, so you'd have 8 days of early voting plus another, election day, plus all the absentee ballots that Claudia would have to deal with.
But you make it that for any of them, TC or
Right, right,
Yeah.
if you changed it, I
same
don't
thing,
know what you
or
wanted,
finance.
are you changing everything?
No, well, they're all up for, conversation.
Did you- I just want to be mindful of your time. Did you want to go through the? I didn't
Yeah.
see you
Yeah,
guys.
okay,
All right.
let's do that. Okay. Okay, so here is the ballot. You guys can see that. Okay, so I'm not happy. It does not sit well with me about how we ask or how we tell people how many to vote on the ballot, and let's take the town council, and I don't, considering what happened with the Republicans this year, it has nothing to do with this, and to me, it has to do with like two elected Republicans who made bad decisions. So it has nothing to do with the ballot, okay? So prior to, I think 2017 or 2019, it said we'll take councilmen up to vote for up to 6. Prior to the up to voter 6, it always said vote up to 4.
Mhm.
All right, so, say. I find people constantly are confused. They call the office because we put out the ballot before election day. Election day, they're confused, like, why do I have to vote for 6? No, it says vote for up to 6. And when I talk to them on the phone or after the election, they call, it's mostly Republicans. I ask my Democrat counterparts whether or not they get phone calls. The answer is no, they don't get phone calls. It seems that the Republicans give me phone calls, and what I say to them is, prior to this, we used to say, vote for up to 4. Are you more comfortable with that? Yes, their answer is, I understand that now. So I believe that we should go back to 4. Because it's very confusing for people, and we're going on, we just had either our 3rd or 4th election, and I'm still getting people confused.
Can I ask a
Why do you
question?
think it's?
I just want to ask a question. Isn't this more about two things? One is due process, people's rights to vote for how many seats are available, and also education. Like if they're asking questions and not understanding it, isn't it better to educate them and then still give everybody the opportunity to vote for the amount of seats that are open? Like, why would you change somebody's rights to vote for every possible seat? That to me would be a violation of somebody's rights, taking away something instead of educating people to say, these are your options, learn them and figure out.
Do you think it would be helpful if you put, and this is maybe a dumb.
I don't
Instead of vote
put,
for
it's the town clerk that makes.
Right,
That
instead of
so
vote
it's not,
for
I don't put.
under vote. I'm just trying to get to the source of the confusion, because for me, I think it would be confusing to say 4 when there's 6 seats open. But if it said councilman 6 seats open, vote for up to 6, would that ease the confusion? Do the people calling you maybe think there's only 4 seats open?
You know what, I believe that, I believe that either 6 or 4 could work, but I also think that which one presents less confusion, and I think
Yeah.
vote for 4.
Boy, by the way, it's
But
not,
that's assuming that there's only 4 candidates,
People-
or that's
because-
assuming.
but
You can
confusion's,
flip it, almost- people will
confusion's
say,
not the right answer, guys. The answer is education. Everybody needs to be educated on how to vote properly, for me. I mean, this is like, sort of like, there's 6 seats. You get to vote for every seat. Why would you take somebody's right away to vote for an open seat?
Because people are confused, because people will say, I only want to vote party line. I
Again,
only wanna
well,
vote
that's,
party line.
that,
Why do I have to vote for 6 people?
You don't have to vote for 6 weeks.
That's what
I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna go back to education, guys.
But
Well, then maybe it should say from both or either party.
But
You can't do that?
Okay. Prior to this, prior to this, when it was vote for up to 4, and I asked the registrars who were there prior to this, Kathleen Redmond and George Cody, whether or not they got phone calls concerning this from voters, and the answer was no. Okay, so I believe that 4 presents less confusion.
Understood. I got it. All right. What else we have? Because we have somebody else we have to,
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I really appreciate the input. It's
Yeah,
good input.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really helpful. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All of it.
Sorry, I missed it. I'll tune in.
No, it's really good. It's really insightful.
I will.
Yeah, because it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you
How
for
many
your time.
people in total bothered to ask a call? 50, 20, 100?
You know, it's just been consistent since it started. So I would say, you know, you have people at the polls and they're confused. And what can they're confused, and then you have people calling me beforehand, the day of the election and after the election, like, why is it 6? I only want to vote for 4. I only want to vote for party line. So,
Maybe
But
we
they
should put-
can,
Maybe we should
yeah.
put the up to bold and capital count.
How do you deal with an unaffiliated voter?
Yeah. that's
You know-
another-
funny that you should say that, because we just had a conversation about this, and that in the sense that, you know, statistically, I feel that unaffiliated voters vote party line,
Which party line?
Whichever one.
whatever their party is.
You don't think they mix?
They
it
don't,
up?
they
No,
don't mix it. Is that
absolutely
right?
not, absolutely not. I believe they vote
That
party
is,
line
that
and
is
up
both, that is
both-
statistically.
Right,
Like,
and
we've done a lot of nationally, they've done a lot
Right.
of research on that, and people that are unaffiliated actually usually vote all Dem or all or one or the other. They're
Right.
just, they're not, it doesn't mean they're moderate or.
Right,
moderate, right, it doesn't mean they're in the middle and split their vote a lot.
And two cases in point that I went through last November election, we had an unaffiliated voter who was a write-in candidate, okay? There's more unaffiliated voters now in the town that there are than the other than Republicans or Democrats. And he got 145 votes. So if they were really unaffiliated, don't you think that they would vote for him? And then the second example is,
Not really.
in 2016,
Hmm.
during the presidential preference primary, for weeks, I was not the registrar, for weeks, people came in who were unaffiliated and changed to a party because they wanted to vote for either Democrat or Republican. And after 5 days of these people coming in, filling out a registration form for a party change, when they left, I gave them a blank form and said, after you finish voting up at the high school or wherever you're going, fill this form out and give it to the help desk, and we'll make you an unaffiliated if you wish to leave the party. And guess what? Most of them did. So, yeah, so they vote party line. I really think they.
So they switch over before the election to vote party line and
In a
then,
primary.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, I
I
expect that.
Yeah.
For primary, you have to.
Yeah, you have to for
Right.
primary, but the point she's making is that they switch back.
Oh, yeah. for
They
sure.
don't, yeah, they
Right.
don't let it, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so I don't think that they vote, I think if they are unaffiliated, they come in, they switch a party to Democrat, they vote in the primary for Democrat, and then they come back and go back to unaffiliated. I don't think they're voting for a Republican. I think they're voting, the likelihood is that they're voting for a Democrat. I don't think they're quote unquote independents. I think they're people who just don't want to declare a party. For what?
Well, that's back to my
I
point.
think Barbara's waiting.
The job.
Okay,
yeah,
I
the
was gonna-
resume.
I wanted
All
to
right.
pause this just so,
Okay.
why is this now? It's not working.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you.
It's very nice to meet you.
welcome.
Thank
You too.
for coming in. I mean, I've seen
Thank
your-
you.
My mouse is broken, so I can't pause it.
Who's coming in, Barbara?
Barbara, is her treasurer with her, let me see if she's waiting.
All right, so I have limited time for this one, you know that.
Yeah, that's fine then. Odd.
What are you trying to do? Pause the,
Yeah, but the mouse is in there.
Yeah, thanks, dear.
Just keep it going. That's all right.
Do you want to pause it, guys?
I got it. I had it, the mouse was turned off.
Hey, Barbie Clayton and John Knight and.
We got everybody anyway now, Tucker, so.
Kathleen and Sharon and
You'll take your photo,
Todd.
so.
Todd Lambert is on
How are
the
you?
screen. So you know who everybody is.
I'm sorry, I missed.
This is John Knight.
Oh, John, yeah.
Natalie Corbett.
Yeah, I can tell.
John. He's good.
Bad thing.
He's gonna be here tomorrow with some of the same people. With me, for finance, for finance. For budget.
Oh, yeah. Board of Finance, right?
So you're also on Health and Human Services.
I am on Health and Human
Yeah.
Services.
Can we forget?
He's everywhere.
Bar best.
We have questions about the, you know, they are sort of related, aren't they? So,
Well, that's,
you know,
I think that's why
um,
Gianna asked me to be on it.
well, we've just been starting off meetings to see if you have some things you want to talk about, you know, statements you want to make, and then, you know, we'll have some questions too.
Well, maybe a clarification of what your mission is to to change what's currently in the charter that describes the work of our EMS commissioners, or to create a section in the charter that describes the mission of New Canaan EMS.
We could do both or either, or.
Well, right now it's not, the starting point is EMS is not in the chart.
That's,
Yeah.
and whether it should be.
Whether it should be is what we would be trying to.
Yeah, okay, that's what was my understanding.
Not changing the mission of EMS necessarily.
No, but including it.
I think that's an ordinance.
I think that's a loss, but it's up to you.
And then where do you stand with respect to the commissioners? Will you be meeting with them on their piece, our three commissioners, Wendy Fogg, Melanie Barnard, Doug Simpson?
Yeah, so I think we should.
I
schedule
talked to Russ about this and he said that they would cover it.
Yeah, we can.
But it's up to you if you think we can set it up. and set
They're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, they're all
Well,
welcome.
they should absolutely take a look at it, but
Yeah,
as the wording currently exists, it doesn't reflect
What
what they do. The commissioners.
Where the wording exists where.
For in the ordinance for the
Yeah,
EMS
actually-
commissioners, when you look at the purpose, powers and duties.
Yeah.
It doesn't bear any resemblance to what they do.
Has there been any effort on the part of that commission to ask town council to modify that ordinance?
We don't know, but it looks like the fire commission did that in 2016. So that there were a number of, then they were also looked into the charter. So it looked like an effort was made by the fire commission back in 2016 as part of their update, because they had something similar prior to that, what the EMS commission stuff looks like now. And then they changed it pretty significantly.
Interesting, because all of my questions were, fire said this, should EMS say this too?
We should be creating our own wording for our own commission, because the fire doesn't oversee.
that's right.
Right, yeah, I
That's
just.
right.
so
But the question is, all
Does
of
this
the,
also apply to the, you know, they just.
not only apply, but are they covered sufficiently under an ordinance? Because, you know, the preference is if you don't have to include something in the charter, is it better off governed by the ordinance?
But you're saying that the
I'm not
ordinance
sure.
itself is no longer accurate.
Well, yeah, so just as.
So both, so
Yes.
both.
It says it as an example, it talks about the commission providing the annual budget to the selectmen. And so that, at least I've been a treasurer for a couple of years, and it's always EMS that goes before the board of selectmen and then the town council. So
Do you go before the EMS first before you
we
go to the?
we
board of
do, we
selectmen?
can
Send it
we consult with
monthly, though.
them first.
And we present a monthly
And we also,
budget.
as, you know, for example, if we have significant expenditures, we have to run those through them first as well as our own board of governors.
You see over 4,000.
Yeah, but they sort of act as a go-between, I guess. You know, sort of overseeing what we're doing. We sort of meet with them and talk to them about operations. And for example, Tom Turntine was very proactive about working with the town when they were doing the renovations to the police department, and it was really interfering with a lot of our operations. So he was a wonderful advocate and making sure that EMS, sort of was able to do what it wanted to do. So I think in any event, we would collectively, we need to try and figure out what they are doing and how you want to best represent it. And some of it is sometimes less is more and sometimes more is better, but I think making sure that it sort of accurately just reflects what the town thinks they should be doing and what they think they're doing.
Where's your preference? Do you think it should be in the charter? I always thought it was missing, but
I think,
if everybody's happy with it, then.
well, I think
It's here,
there are a couple of,
it's just not correct.
when I look, I guess the question is there's some things which are in the ordinance and some things are in the charter, and did the town have a specific purpose in setting it up that way, or did it kind of get there by default?
You mean for the fire or just? in
Yeah, or
general?
for the, just in general,
Yeah.
because there's
It
some,
evolved, or devolved, whichever you wanna.
I mean, I think from the EMS perspective, we'd be fine with it either way, and if because fire and police are in the charter, if it makes sense to put EMS in there with the EMS commission in there, that would be fine.
Would it
Yeah,
be a
one
separate
thing, guys,
commissioner with you? Should it be?
It's separate from fire and PD.
Yeah,
And it's.
It already
really-
exists. It's just-
yeah.
And it's already here, but it doesn't,
This is the ordinance, not the charter.
Yeah.
That's
So-
what you're on.
I think I'll speak for myself, for EMS, is that unless the town thinks we need to be in the charter, I think our preference is we're a separate public, Connecticut nonprofit. We have a charter, we have our own bylaws. We certainly are obligated to comply with all the state regulations. We're overseen by the state EMS agency. To me, if EMS commission stuff accurately reflects, the town's perspective on emergency services and what their oversight responsibilities are, that ought to, my personal opinion, that ought to be adequate.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise, I'm not sure. It's hard to know what to put in, what not to put in, given what we do.
and we
What,
have
what
a
is
very-
it, what does the commission, what are their responsibilities? As, off the top of your head, would you describe it?
It's general oversight, and we would report any disciplinary action, any need to go above the budget, any, the scheduling of ordering of our new rigs, and it's just, sort of an update process. We have a very extensive set of bylaws that we're governed by, that we have a board of governors.
And does the
Five members.
commission have to, like, say you wanted to change the bylaws, does the commission have to approve that, or do they have any input, or do they discuss it, or?
We would probably update them, but our board of governors does,
Like the
I didn't
library.
realize you had a board of governors.
we do, and they're,
Mhm.
2-year terms, all 5 board of governors. Have alternating terms, so they don't all roll off at once. There are term limits, they're voted on as part of the slate that at our annual meeting.
Does the town appoint anybody to your board?
Totally volunteer.
And your funding, when you,
Told.
and your funding, is when it goes to, is it considered, so I'm comparing this in my mind to the library, just because we've recently had that discussion, it seems.
So I
you know,
think
this-
the-
Do you have any formal agreement with the town or, about what you do aside from?
So, yeah, we have the budget with the town only has about 10 or 12 line items. 4 of those can sort of come from us, and then the others are all part of the town, because the town owns the building, so they take care of heating, they take care of gasoline, stuff like that. So the 4 or 5 items that come up are, one is the paramedic contract with Norwalk Hospital, which is negotiated every 5 years, but the annual fee is fixed, and so the town pays for that. Second is we have our dispatching and patching services through the Southwest Regional Communications Center, and so the town pays for those 2 as well.
It's for what, sir?
It's the dispatching and patching, so it's the 911 services, and it's also what allows us to communicate with the hospitals. So it's both pieces of that. And those are the largest ones, and then the town gives us some funds toward vehicle repairs and maintenance, and then also toward medical supplies and equipment. And then the rest of our expenses, including for anything over what the town gives us toward medical supplies and equipment, is we pay for out of the annual appeal that we get each year in donations. So all of our training, all of our uniforms, a lot of our medical equipment, so we need to buy new equipment and things like new radios for our new ambulance. So those are all things that are part of our budget that come out of the fundraising that we do.
And what about like, you said maintenance and repairs for the vehicles? So if you needed a brand new ambulance, how?
And that goes through capital.
So that goes through capital, and
There's so many.
an example, so
For 3 years.
we're about to take delivery on an ambulance that was contracted for a couple of years ago. The town had budgeted $280 for it. For us to get the initial ambulance out of pockets, $294. And then we also separately paid $21,000 for new radios. We paid $30,000 for a new power loader. And we also do the detailing and painting, which is another 12 to
But
15.
why didn't that go
it
through
have.
capital?
Well, that's to be discussed further at some
Well,
point.
seriously, I mean, I've been on the board of finance forever. Why wouldn't we pay for that?
I inherited, I think some of it, historically, I think some of it is, it didn't all turn over at the same time.
Yeah, I get that.
And so but we are, as part of this process, we have started discussions with the town about the next time we do this. And also the ambulance that we are going to be putting out of service is going to be sold by the town. So when they sell it, we'll get the 14,000 back. And if they're able to sell it for more, we've had discussions with them about whether they might help reimburse us for some of these other costs that we've incurred. But at the end of the day, it's the town's ambulance. But so we are engaging in discussions with them. For me, I've been doing this, I guess, for about 2 or 3 years, and it's the first cycle I'm going through this. We're trying to figure out, we're trying to be as transparent as we can with the town, and then we're also trying to figure out how to manage this. So far, we've been able to cover the costs and expenses because we're sort of break even on a cash flow basis between what we raise through donations and then what our expenses are. So it hasn't been like we've sort of not had the funds to do these things.
Do you?
Todd wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Todd. My head was turned, so I started ignoring.
That's okay. I'm good.
Oh, you good?
Oh,
Okay.
well, plus we also, just to add on to that, we just signed contracts for the maintenance of all of this equipment, which was another 28,000.
It's over 5 years,
Yeah.
but that's only for part of it.
Okay.
So,
Is that not covered to a degree in the garage? Can they not do that? The town garage? Can't do.
we have been
repairs
using
and-
them
So
more.
for the,
Yeah,
where we have been able to, so as an example is that we used to have to take our ambulances up to Eastford to get the snow tires changed out. So we were able to talk to the town guys, and they were able to do it for us. They couldn't store the snow tires for us, but they were happy to swap them out for us. So that was both much more
oh, yeah.
faster and more efficient for us, and it's also a cost saving. So we've been looking for ways in which we can do that.
Definitely,
go
yeah,
along.
because everyone
Um,
uses them, so you should too.
But in terms of repairs to the ambulances themselves, that's sort of more specialized.
Okay.
Unless it's just an oil change, but so
And where do you go
Yeah.
for something like that?
for something that's simple, we go now to a place called Precision Brake Works up in Ridgefield.
Oh, really?
One of the people there is a former EMT, and so they are very responsive and it's a
Still
lot
take it.
easier.
We still take an ambulance out of service for
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
changing snow tires or
But
changing oil.
But for the paramedic car, which is an SUV, we'll often just take it here to CNH if we can, as long as it's not, again, specialized equipment.
They're great with that too.
Are there any, a little bit of changing the topic, but are there any, state statutes around what municipalities have to provide for EMS? And, for obviously police, there's a lot, and they have to have, we have to have a police chief, we have to have a fire marshal or chief, I'm not sure which one. Is there any positions within EMS the state requires?
It's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. I think, I mean, Russ Times might have a better idea because he sort of sits a little bit above us and has
Emergency
a much,
management, yeah.
has a broader, sense of how these pieces all fit together.
Mhm.
But at least other than making our annual filings, that we need to make, and other than the inspections, they do come by and inspect the ambulances, each year, every other year. But beyond that, I'm not aware of much interaction.
Do you know if the town is required to provide an EMS service? I imagine it probably could be folded into the fire in some.
I mean, most towns, smaller towns,
They
it is
don't-
part of fire department.
It's
Right.
not a
Right,
volunteer.
okay, so that's
Yeah.
probably why.
I think that from conversations we've had with neighboring towns, we're truly the only volunteer service. But we also have a very great partnership with the town. So we are supported by the town to an extent that some of these other services, which do have some volunteer members, but they are not. So they will either do more aggressive fundraising. So like one of the towns will send out a letter after each ambulance call saying, this is what it would have cost you if it weren't a volunteer service. You know, we run this out of donations. Would you like to contribute?
Here's an envelope.
Right.
And then some of them bill for ALS services, which is the paramedic services, but then you need a whole back office to do all of the billing and collect the information. So I
You
think
guys do handle that.
we don't do any, no billing,
Okay.
no insurance, no billing. It's all free. It's free for everyone.
Even, I know, I meant the
Oh.
the paramedic. Oh, you mean like on a case by case basis, the use of the paramedic?
Yeah.
Now I forgot what.
So
Do
I
you
think,
need an EMS commission when you have this board that does, it seems like there's a lot of overlap between what the commission was described at and what your
I
board
personally
does?
find it very helpful.
Okay.
Because it's, because they are a liaison with the town directly, so it's sort of, we have, I mean, beyond the managing the police station renovations, there hasn't been anything controversial that I've been aware of in my short tenure. Barb may know more, but I think, also because at least one of the members is required to be a former EMT.
I think two of them have to.
Or two, okay, so.
I know Wendy is is she an active? Oh, she's not active, right, okay.
And, so there's a wealth of information, it's
Okay.
very helpful, and they
Yeah, their
often have a good,
institutional knowledge
Yeah.
is.
You see that in the ordinance, that requirement, because I was wondering about it and I didn't.
I think
might not
it's
have-
our bylaws, you know.
Maybe it's in the. I could have. just-
Is there
Yeah, very-
anything in your bylaws that should be in the charter? I mean, I guess that's another way of
Our
looking at it.
bylaws describe, kind of level of membership, active, you know, responsibilities, your duties, your writing hours. I don't think that that's,
It's not
No.
anything that should be,
no, or it's an operational
yeah.
tool for us.
And the charter at the state level, I guess I've not seen that. Is it duplicitous? I mean, is it almost the same exact thing? Are we taking
no,
from that? Not
the
really?
charter would be more like a corporate charter, so because we're a corporation, so we have a certificate of incorporation or
Yeah.
the charter document, and then we have the bylaws like you would have for a normal corporation or a normal nonprofit. So it's nothing EMS or town specific. It's more just relating to the entity itself, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you're overseeing, are you governed in the sense that if somebody has a complaint, they could take it to the state? As, I
And we
mean,
do get, we don't get complaints, we get legal requests for, typically it's a motor vehicle accident, they want access to the chart, but we don't get, you made a complaint about our,
well, is there any
Handling the
interface that you have to follow or live up to or report to or any of that in the state level, at the state level?
we,
I think we would if we had a problem. But I
But
don't,
it's not an ongoing yearly, okay.
it's not an obligation of us to
To report and
to report.
Okay.
We report to the town.
Yeah, oh,
number of
yeah.
Calls on an annual basis and number of hours worked by volunteers and
And you send that information as include that information part of the budget process, or is it a different?
it's part of the budget process and, I mean, we
I think, I mean,
report year-end
yeah,
details.
yeah.
It's pretty thorough in the budget process, I mean, it always was.
The other.
It's
reason-
mostly about capital, it's not about all of this, yeah.
And the other reason that I think the commission is helpful is that they're usually there, we rotate officers every 2 years, although we're no longer rotating the treasurer. But the reason it's not to bore you, but
It's for life, treasurer for life.
Oh, I figured that, yeah.
but the commission provides another level of continuity of what we've been doing, because with all of the changeover in the officers, sometimes there's people are around, but sometimes they leave or they're not as active at the moment. So I think, speaking for myself, I think it's very helpful to have them, and I think I've found that they're it's a very mutually beneficial relationship.
And you think that, so you wouldn't want term limits on the commission, it sounds like.
Well,
You like
I mean, they have a term of 3 years, but if it was like they can only hold 2 terms or 3 terms,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we would care. They might.
And the size of the commission is okay, if there's 3 people on that, you feel like.
Yeah.
And you said that there's 2 people that have to be former.
I'm pretty sure it's 2, but
Okay.
I don't know where I read that. I think it's in our bylaws.
Two
Oh, is
has
it
to
here?
be,
Yeah, it says,
Does that have to be former members
it
of
says one
New
shall
Canaan
have,
EMS or just?
so
former?
it says one of the members of the commission shall be a member of and a past or present officer of such volunteer ambulance corps. 2 members of the commission shall have no affiliation with the volunteer ambulance. So that's,
That makes sense.
but that's
It's oversight.
actually, that's not the way the current board is constituted.
Yeah.
Commission is constituted. So both
Okay,
Wendy and
evaluation.
Melanie have affiliation with the ambulance corps, so.
I mean, they're considered life members, but neither one of them is active.
Right.
So I guess, the
but
question is,
after a
what do you
certain
mean
age.
by
you get
affiliation?
retarded. Wow, my God.
Um,
what do you
So
expect?
it sounds like where we are is the need to review what's in the ordinance. And it would be a whole separate process to actually change that ordinance, but we could, if we wanted a section in the charter for EMS, basically we'd have the correct, and probably not all the detail of the ordinance, but
Yeah.
The main, I think there's
You-
like 3 main things that we talk about for each commission, and we just put those basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the goal of the commission,
And that you could easily move it to the charter and then that would supersede, I guess, the ordinance. I don't know technically how. it
No.
works. Oh,
No, I mean, we have an ordinance for the audit committee and we have the charter. It's much more limiting what we put in the charter because the ordinance is what really drives it and covers it. So, I don't know, to me, I don't see what the compelling reason is.
Doesn't
for an
sound
EMS
like it,
commission
yeah.
To be in the
That's how
charter.
No.
I,
We're kind
you know,
of coming out on.
and it
this.
does lock you in, if you do put some things in, oh, now I'd like to put in 4 members instead of 3.
Yeah.
You can do that
Yeah.
under an ordinance, easy to change, you still have to go through the process through the town council, et cetera. But once it's in the charter, you gotta wait 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2016 that the.
Now we're
ordinance was
definitely-
really acceptable. One of you said.
Stick with the ordinance, I think they're much better.
Our bylaws it was
Was
2017.
17, so when was the ordinance updated, or was it?
I
Maybe,
think the ordinance, the ordinance says it was last,
Yeah,
for the EMS commission,
Yeah.
it was effective in 1981.
it's time to change.
And I
the
don't think
ordinance.
it's been amended since.
and that's another, we have several of these going to town
Those
council.
those are
if
just
that's where-
recommendations.
I know.
It's a-
Yeah, I mean, I
So
see where
maybe-
Kathleen's going with that.
Well, it's really to protect you guys. It's, things move and fluctuate, and I just don't think that that's something you wanna lock in for 10 years.
No, not if there isn't something that's compelling, it's not.
And, it also refers to the commission establishing policies for the planning, coordination, administration of emergency medical service organizations and providers. But I think that's really been subsumed by the Office of Emergency Management and by other things.
Yeah.
So if nothing,
Mhm.
So,
Well, I think, where we do the charter review, 10 years ago, I don't think there's no such thing as an ordinance review. Is that right?
It's not under our purview, that's under.
No, I mean, just in
That's
general,
another
like why an
town council.
ordinance is, the charter might be more up to date than an ordinance.
Ordinances should be, there's a bylaws and
It
ordinance.
should.
commit-
They
Oh, they
should
do.
be at a really
Yeah,
bit
and-
behind. There's several things we.
But that's
really
the town council's
Mhm.
purview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions? I don't think
So what can we do to be helpful in your process?
Well, only if especially if there's language that's wrong. I mean, clearly, we could use some edits or updates.
Okay, so we can meet with the commissioners and.
Yeah, see if
and
there's something you want.
suggest-
I would go straight to the bylaws and ordinance.
Yeah, I don't think we have, because it's not in here.
Not us.
So we don't have anything to.
You don't have to go to
so
the
you
charter.
guys can skip it, because you
Yeah.
can just say, we're not
Yeah,
gonna put it in the
you
charter.
can
there's
say,
no
we're
need to do
putting
it.
the charter,
But
not
by
ours,
the
but
way,
some
the ordinance
point.
committee should
Yeah,
take a look
At
at it.
some point, yeah.
And
Right.
the ordinance. So the town council and the head of, or the co-head of bylaws and ordinances is Hillary Ormond. And I don't know who her co-chair is,
I'm
maybe
not sure.
Christina
Is it
Ross, maybe.
Christina? She was, I don't know if she's still
It's,
is.
it's on the
Yeah.
website,
Yeah,
and we'll definitely mention it to her
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to both of them and to say.
To take us off your list.
We're happy to help, but,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
only from the charter standpoint, if there's any language that's, that's standing out or it's not clear.
Is
or-
there
anything
any,
in
is there any interaction that you have with Health and Human Services?
Yes, in our, when we identify someone who is maybe a repeated caller of 911, and we have 2 people right now that are elderly and need some support from Health and
Oh,
Human
yeah.
Services.
We got a
So-
lot of that in the past.
And how about Health and Human Service Commission? Any interaction with that?
I,
Aside that he's on.
Other
the-
than me, I overlap.
He's on.
Okay, oh, so you-
New member of the,
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
So you.
so we go.
I mean, most of our contact would be through human services. But also if they have an involuntary committal, which sometimes comes up, or if
Mhm.
we have a situation where we're concerned about whether someone is on a watch list and whether there are issues in the home that aren't being addressed. So we communicate directly on a confidential basis with Marcy or her team.
So we'll see you for the Health and Human Services Commission.
Um,
Schedule that or?
She's coming in at 3, Barbara's coming
I
at
think
3.
it's Monday.
Oh, Barbara,
Tuesday,
okay.
but the other ones
Oh,
haven't
okay.
confirmed yet, that's the
Okay.
only one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yes.
We'll be okay.
Finance people tomorrow.
And you're gonna go to the next week, you're available to talk about the Health and Human Services. Which have you?
Yes.
Will you?
I've been asked
Are
to.
you coming, I said,
Yes.
please include,
Okay.
yeah, but
Myself and
some of them
Planning
don't wanna.
Secretary.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Great. Great. All right, well, thank you. I'm gonna.
All right.
So let us know if
Taking
that's,
time, yeah.
You adjourn.
Yeah,
we have a monthly meeting with the commissioner, so. We can.
yeah,
update
all
them
the time,
on
yeah,
our
you can,
conversation here.
yeah, if there's
Sure.
anything that
And,
comes up, that's perfect, you.
We provide, John gives an update on our finances, I give a president's report.
And then see if there's anything else, let us know, yeah, by all means, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
I'll see you at the gym.
Yes, yes. Oh, you're so good.
Right, yeah, do you wanna?
Oh, all right.
We inspire each other. How's that? Okay, thank you.
All right, so, a motion to adjourn. And second, because he's not here, so all favor? Good. All right, I guess there's no further,
Do you do a transcription so